Tom Pidcock, welcome to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. Big guest. Where are you now? A bit of mystery around it, and I'm a little bit confused myself. Got the CX season at the moment. Could you maybe just explain to people how the CX Ineos signing transition is working this year? Is the first road race in March, and you're fulfilling the full CX season before then?
Yeah, exactly. It's January. When I don't know when this is going out, but it's January. I finish the cross on the 31st at the Worlds, and then as of February, then I changed to Ineos. It was March, but we're changing it to February now.
Okay, cool. And is that just to join the team, like go to the service course, etc., or are you planning on getting a race in on the road in February?
I'll be racing. I'm doing Mediterranean Epic, the mountain bike race first.
Cool.
And then Algarve and openings weekend. So I'm actually not having much of a break, going straight into the road.
And that's what I want to talk about actually. How does it? Are you a big numbers, sort of always looking at your Training Peaks or whatever software you guys use? Are you obsessive about it, or are you kind of just I pedal hard and I get the results type guy, or somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, in the middle, I'd say. I think it's of course we look at. I look at the numbers and do training to numbers, but I'm also a guy like that. I mean, you do your training, you do your numbers, and then you don't need to talk about it for days afterwards, do you? And so I use them for what they're needed for, but I don't.
Yeah,
it's not at the end of the day. I'm also a guy who's if we did testing or something, I'm not. I'm not a guy for testing. I'm a guy for racing.
And so with this CX season, how does that work? I'm not a training expert or anything. I just watch a lot of the races. But how does that work physiologically? You've got a traditional preparation for roads. I mean, it's not the case anymore, but it used to be you just do long hours in the saddle, right? But you're doing CX races in your off season. And we know it works. We know it works now because we've got Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel, and you even did well in U23 stuff last year. So it's not like it can't work. But how does that work doing a 1 hour intense effort in the midst of your sort of a road training block? Are you doing a hybrid training program with Ineos, accounting for the CX stuff?
Yeah, so after Mountain Bike Worlds last year, I had 3 weeks off, which is actually the longest I've had off ever. Then I think I did 4 weeks of endurance, or 3 weeks of endurance. I can't remember, but big endurance block, not really high intensity efforts. And then got into the season. I was first race was terrible, but then as soon as I switched to high intensity, then immediately I was just the level came because of all the endurance. And then I kind of keep a mix. I generally do 4 or 5 hours if a good big training day with efforts. So keep a good mix during the races, and then now I've done just over a week now of two blocks of endurance, and then I'm going to switch again to the intensity before the Worlds.
Does seeing what Wout and Mathieu van der Poel, seeing what they've done, basically a seamless transition between the two codes, even to winning? I think Wout van Aert was barely done any road races in 2018, and he won. That was 2019, and won a Tour de France stage. Does that give you any? Does that reassure you that hey, this is something that can be done? This is definitely possible that I can do both, even at the biggest team in the world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is simply not possible to replicate a cross racing training. They're so fast now. It's there is, even if I did it just for training for the road, there is yeah, by far the best training you could possibly do to be explosive and powerful and fast for the road. And then you just need to add endurance, and then you're basically a complete road rider then.
We saw last year with the European champs, I know you won Baby Giro and everything, but I thought the most interesting result, and what I was looking at with some other people, was your European champs 4th place in the ITT. And we were like, okay, that's a good result, because Legnesson won that, and I think he's pretty good as well. I think he's going to go pretty well this year. How with the cross, with the road stuff as well, how much time have you had on the TT bike? Because you look pretty dialed in, look really aero as well.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of work to be done in my TT bike, but I spent a good bit of time on it before. But I say a good bit of time. I in the last couple of weeks before it, and the last week I did a lot of sessions, and I was going for that race. And I was disappointed at the start. When I finished, I was like 4th. I wanted to win, but to be honest, I was like, I think 56, 57 kilos, and in the end, my numbers were pretty good. Well, very good, my best ever, really. So I can't really be disappointed with it. It was actually pretty good ride. Yeah,
and we were trying to figure out, like, me and a couple of other nerds, we always look at the times and everything. We try to figure out, even though we have no idea what your CDA is, and we're like, that's his exact watts that he did. So it's like world class performance. But we thought that was pretty quick, because
what do you reckon I was doing?
Well, we had your weight. I think I had your weight at 57, so that was pretty bang on. I think maybe 330, 335. I can't remember. I think
I averaged, I think, 350 something, and my normalized was 371.
All right, so you can go way quicker. Because we obviously we thought your position was like absolutely locked, so we thought, okay, he's done this all on aero. Because I know Campanarts he's heavier than you, and he did 330, 340 for something, I can't remember, a TT, because he's like, obviously he's all aero. Maybe that was a world record, world hour attempt. Okay.
Yeah, possibly.
370 normalized. Jesus Christ. All right. Maybe that's why on more. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of numbers, then, in a similar length effort, were you surprised by your Mortarolo time? Because in the Baby Giro, I'm not sure if you guys have seen that. Go and check out my YouTube video about that. Oh, Matt included that stage. Yeah, your time, even compared to when they've done the race in the Giro, etc., was pretty quick. Were you surprised by
that? Well, funny you mentioned that, because before the race, I was thinking, I'm just going to go flat out the Mortarolo and try and get the KOM. And then I was told to calm down and win the race and forget about that. So then I hit it in two minds about what I should do, but then I felt crap. So then I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna ride. I'm just gonna get over this, and then But then that climb, like with those gradients, you never feel good. So
I think one other guy joined you. I can't remember. Maybe he was like 4th, trying to get onto 3rd. Was it Ben Danabeel or someone? Maybe it was a different stage. He tried to join you. He's trying to get on 3rd on GC. So there's really no point trying to drop him, because I think he worked with you from memory.
Exactly. Yeah.
When speaking of the mixture, I've already asked you about 3-4 questions about like different disciplines. CX, Mortarolo doing a hot time, TT doing well. You've also won Paris-Roubaix, both juniors and U23, at a guy that's under 60 kilos. Do you think that, like, is that going to be a target race for you in the future? And maybe not this year, but is that something you want to do and actually target to win at World Tour level?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. This year I'm not riding, but next year I will. I want to ride. And for sure. I mean, Yeah, if I do win, I'll definitely be the first guy. We were talking about this earlier. But the first guy sub 60 kilos to win Roubaix for sure. So yeah, no, it is something I want to target. Whether I ever do win, the raw simply, I don't have the raw power of the big guys. That's just facts. But yeah, I do want to give it a go. It's one of my favorite races, especially when the crowds are allowed to come back. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a new era now where you've got Evenepoel breaking away, and he's like, I think almost a similar rider to you in that he's like under 6 foot. He's probably a bit heavier than you, to be honest, but he's like got TT and climb, etc. And Alaphilippe even at Flanders last year. Like Alaphilippe, I think if he does it, should be a favourite again for Flanders this year. I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm.
I know Flanders is a bit different to Roubaix in terms of the style rider.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see now, like if you got Punch or TT, if you're realistic and you're like, okay, well, I probably shouldn't go to the velodrome with Burnham if he's there, or Sagan or Mads Pedersen now. Like if you're you, probably not a great idea to go to the velodrome with them. But if you use it in a way that like you saw Stefan Kung, who he doesn't get the biggest results all the time, but at least he's realistic. I think now Kung again maybe he's like, well, fuck this, I'm not gonna beat Wout van der Poel and Pedersen in a sprint, so I just gotta actually try and attack from really far out and use my TT ability, and ended up kind of like 12th because of it. And I guess that's why riders often don't do it, because it's like, well, I could sit in, get 4th out of 4, but I have zero chance of winning. Anyway, I don't know why.
Yeah, you got a race to the win, though, haven't you?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's a mindset thing. So speaking of, I mean, I'm not sure if you published your schedule or if you guys have even firmed up on it yet fully at Ineos, but do you know what races what your program is looking like for 2021 yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's an idea that my coaches have kind of come to, but beyond the first races, Mediterranean Epic, Algarve, and the openings weekend, and then what is it? Then it's Strada. Beyond that, not really. I mean, hopefully, well, we'll be doing a big mountain bike block in about June.
Yeah.
I think June, July, and then, June, and then Olympics. Hopefully, well, I mean, we haven't got a spot yet, but that's the plan. And then I want to ride the Vuelta.
Yeah, and I keep asking people, "Oh, what's your program looking like?" And it's like, well, I don't know, man. Do I have to do 2 weeks quarantine before the Olympics, or do I not? It's if you don't know.
Fortunately for me, that's not going to be much of a. Yeah, I haven't. Tour of Austria is basically my race before that, and it's like 2.5 weeks. So,
all right.
Whether it's quarantine or not doesn't really affect me.
Okay,
so I won't be doing the tour. So.
Yeah, and when you look at so you're not doing the tour. If you had to pick the sort of the Grand Tour profiles, which one do you think suits you the most? And maybe if you wanted to, I hate like when everyone's like, trying to put people in boxes, being like, he is exactly this sort of rider. But you may want to explain to people what sort of rider you view yourself as, or maybe what your strengths are or weaknesses might be on the road, and like which Grand Tour you think suits you the most. I assume you can go for GC at some point in the future.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the differences are between the Grand Tours. They're all 3 weeks. That's what I know.
Giro's like the long climbs. Like so, Rowan Dennis is like good on Giro because it's like 25k, 6%, 5% smooth. Tour is like a mix, and then Vuelta is just like madness with ridiculous climbs.
Yeah, I'd say this. I'd say the Tour, to be honest. A mix. I think to be honest, I'm better on the shallower climbs than the steep ones.
Yeah.
So Giro Tour, I would say.
That's what Vlasov
was
said. The Astana guy. He was like, listen, he's like, I want 1 hour at 6%, 7%, and just staying exactly like that. And he won the Mont Ventoux challenge. Whereas then in the Vuelta, he was like getting dropped by Roglic on the really steeper stuff, and then having to come back later.
Yeah.
Is that so? You're sort of a bit like that.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's much harder to find a rhythm, isn't it, on a steeper hill, compared to It's not like you can, like on a shallower climb, you can sort of, like Alaphilippe was doing in the Tour, he kind of sprints and then just eases up, and then you can break your rhythm. Whereas a steep climb, if you stop pedaling, you're gonna stop. So
yeah. I think Vuelta a Burgos. It's like I'm not sure if you ever watched it, but it's always like a European Tour 5-day race, but it always has like really high climbing performances. Sosa, as he usually does pretty well on it. But yeah, it's got this climb Lagunas de Naya in the last stage, and you can see like Sosa, he was good at just sort of sitting in and then attacking on like the steepest section, and Landa and stuff were attacking Evenepoel. But then he was like, he would just do what Froome would always do and just like TT his way back. He's like, you're going to have to drop your watts at some point. And I know my threshold probably actually is a bit better than you guys. But so he just like TT his way back. And I think that's like, is that how you'd probably try and ride a climb in the future? You'd be like, okay, you guys might attack me, but no one can surge forever. And I know my TT and your threshold power is up there with the best. Is that how you would approach those climbs?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I know that I'm not very good at. I can ride at a consistent, very high pace, but if it's kind of like a bit under threshold, then I find that's difficult to sit out. So I kind of maybe off the wheel and a bit and
I saw that at the Giro a bit, at the baby Giro.
Yeah. I just kind of have to change my pace a little bit. If it's flat out, then it's fine. But if it's a bit, I need to kind of do a bit of different stuff.
I've saved one of the serious questions, and like, don't lie to the audience. They'll know if you're lying. Your Warzone KD.
I have no idea. I actually have no idea.
We'll look you up on Cod Tracker.
Probably like fucking 0.5 or something. It's rubbish.
Right. Funny backstory is that I think I might have been drunk. I don't know, but I think you must have posted an Insta story about Warzone or something, and I posted it ages ago, and I responded to Tom. I must have said like 1v1 on Rust or something, and then I made that video about Baby Giro win last year, and I think Tom was mentioned me trying like correcting something I said that was wrong about it, and he's then seen that like 6 months before I've just been like 1v1 on Rust. He's like, excuse me, what is this?
Yeah.
So maybe I should probably stop doing that.
What's your KD actually?
It's not that good. It's like 1.4. I'm not going to lie to people. It's not. I'm like, I call myself the strategic guy of the squad, meaning that I'm actually shit and the other guys.
Yeah, I don't play that. I've gone back to Fortnite. It's just much easier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The DMR in Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get killed by one, and I'm just like, right, I'm not playing anymore.
Even Tom Pidcock is calling to the DMR to get nerfed. I mean, Nick Merckx just said it got nerfed on a YouTube video, so hey, maybe it has. Do you think?
Apparently it hasn't. They nerfed it, but it's not been nerfed.
I know. Do you think that? Do you think there's been like a change in cycling now, and maybe you have insight into it? And I want to ask. My plan is to keep asking people this who come on. Why is it that younger guys, like really young, like yourself, like Pogacar, like Bernal, like Evenepoel, are able to come in now and be competitive almost straight away at World Tour level? Is it because, like, were you training with a power meter at like 13 years old or even younger? Do you reckon that's the reason why?
I think first of all, I don't know, but maybe a reason why is because, like, everything is developing, everything. And I think maybe the development of young riders is, improving each year, so that these guys get more information, more, maybe better training earlier and earlier, and also better. And so, maybe at a younger age, they're, much further, developed, better trained than perhaps before. But honestly, I don't know. I think it's, it's strange, really. Guys peak when they're 25, 26, but some people's best results now are probably going to be, when they're 21. So I think, it's interesting. I don't know the answer, to be honest.
Yeah, because like Tao was like the traditional development timeline for like a British rider, like peaking at like 25, 26, pretty standard, really. Sivakov is kind of similar to that timeline as well. I think he's going to have a big year. Like you see them doing well at like Tour of the Alps when they're like 23, 24, and then I think Sivakov might be a bit younger than that. Whereas like Bernal, maybe it's the training, like they can handle like insane volumes early. But I think part of it is still related to power meters. I think now coaches and DS and managers, now everyone goes through their testing in January as a team, and then they look at what each of the riders have done. It's like, okay, well, our 28-year-old that we are paying more, etc., and the guy who should be leading, well, he's not actually as good as the 20-year-old Neopro we just signed, because like you can see it in the numbers. So that
I think there's less of that old tradition that the young guys have to earn the respect and earn to be a leader. But now it's like, if you're the best, you're the best. I think that's also a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you see that with the other teams. You'll see like a 35-year-old like veteran domestique like immediately working. I mean, it makes sense. If I was there, I'd be like, okay, well, if this 20-year-old kid's our best chance of winning, I'd like to get a bonus rather than not getting a bonus. My team winning the Tour de France. So how do you see? Will you do the Olympics, and then is there a plan for road racing after that, or you just don't know yet? Depending on how the year goes.
Yeah, I'd like, after the Olympics, I'd like to do the Vuelta and the Road Worlds. But we'll see how it goes. I think I'd like to do a Grand Tour. I think I'm ready to do a Grand Tour. And I'm not going to go in as a leader, but I can go in and help the team, whoever will be the leader. And I'm happy to do that. It'd be nice to, there's not no pressure when you're. It's almost easier to. It's almost easier to perform when you're not under pressure. When you're doing it for someone else, I quite like working for people sometimes. So
that's what we were talking about, Benji and I, on the Ineos preview. Is that Ineos has signed so many guys, and there's so many. It's like the year where I think it's the most unclear who the GC leaders are. And there's so many potential guys that it's almost quite a good time that you've signed, because if you were the only signing last year, maybe there'd be more like constant pressure and focus on when's Pidcock going to do his first Grand Tour? Is he going to be the leader, etc. Whereas it's like, okay, there's like 10 guys that all have on any other team would probably be the GC leader. So you can go to the Vuelta, which is traditional first Grand Tour for a guy, and take it easy. And maybe if, I don't know, Brailsford said last year that there's the plan to actually go for more stages and stuff. Who knows? Like maybe you also get some freedom in that sense if that trend continues.
Maybe. I don't know what the plan would be yet, but I'd be sure up for that.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you go, Tom. Thanks very much for joining the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. Any last things you'd like to say? Any little things you'd like people to look out for during this season? Any races to watch?
Strada.
Yeah, Strada. I'll be keen to watch Strada. That'll be so good. That's one of my favorite races this season.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite race now. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be good fun.
All right. Cheers, Tom.
Cheers.